8 months since its commissioning,
we're here today to launch the Defence Strategic Review.
A 110-page document begins a historic reshaping of the ADF.
It is the most significant work that's been done since the Second World War.
The declassified National Defence Report spells out the risks posed by China's rapid militarisation, nominating 6 priority areas. Nuclear-powered submarines remain the top focus, along with developing long-range missile capability. The review calls for renewed efforts to attract and retain defence personnel, as well as deepening diplomatic and defence partnerships across the region. Harnessing new disruptive technologies more rapidly into ADF capability and hardening key defence bases across northern Australia with more personnel and equipment stationed there.
All of this is a watershed moment for defence policy in our country's history.
The federal government is spending $19 billion in its immediate response to the review. That's paid for in part by $7.8 billion in cuts or tweaks to existing defence programs. Infantry fighting vehicles and mobile artillery weapons among those to be scaled back.
There will be a need for defence expenditure to increase above that which had previously been budgeted for. We make no apologies for that.
Today's announcement on the eve of Anzac Day is tricky politics.
Army's focus instead turns to long-range land-based strike missiles. But decisions on the future of Navy's warships will be subject to another short review, led by a retired US Admiral.
Defence acquisition must speed up. We must also embrace more risk in that process.
When we say defence needs to accept more risk, that means that all of us have to accept more risk as well.
Debate over funding will rage, but this review won't fire up any party political argument over the underlying need to arm up. Using words like urgent, the Albanese government's outlook is strikingly similar to its predecessors. That is, that distance and time can no longer be relied upon to protect this continent. Andrew Greene, ABC News, Canberra.
China's foreign ministry this afternoon insisted Beijing doesn't pose a threat to any country. But as political editor Andrew Greene explains, such assurances don't resonate in Canberra.
China's mentioned just 9 times in the published Defence Strategic Review, yet Xi Jinping's been the biggest influence on Australia's new military settings. The Chinese president's assertiveness and his territorial ambition have forced this reconfiguration, as well as the worrying conclusion that our defence capabilities aren't enough to serve as a deterrent against high-level threats. That's the paradox at the heart of the Strategic Review. It recommends an urgent increase in Australia's armaments, not to prepare for conflict, but to avoid it. And while the security alliance with the United States remains critical to Australia's self-defence, the aim is to discourage potential aggressors from taking the risk. This is the reality in the defence shake-up. Australia has to effectively muscle up against its biggest trading partner in the risky calculation that it's the best way to preserve regional peace.